Hi, this is Carolyn Francis, and I am starting this live to talk to you a little bit about important tools to use with your candles. So you probably won't see me most of this because I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can actually see the candles and what I'm doing with them. So hold on just a second. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to share with you is what's called a wick trimmer. So there it is. It is on, almost like scissors, but it's got a flat bottom. And this is very important because whether you are burning a new candle, especially the first time, or an old one, you need to trim the wick. Now, the reason for doing this is to keep the candle from smoking and also to keep the flame closer to the wick so that it's actually using up the wax. So I'm going to show you that really quick. So this is our Tealights. And just a side note, PartyLite Tealights come in this nice little plastic container, and that's recyclable. And you can, it's meant for you to be able to take these out because we used to have a product, and you could probably just use your own now, that was like a nice wine glass. And the best way to do it was to just take this out and put it in because our candles completely liquefy. And so they fill the bottom of a candle very nice, of a like curved glass very nicely. So it's all up to you, but so a new candle has a wick that is usually a little bit too long, and that's just part of the pouring process and the creation of the candle to make sure they, get it right. But you do want to trim that down to about 1/4 inch. Let me tilt this a little bit. So that, it takes a little bit of practice. It'll be more difficult for me with the camera in between us, but you'll go ahead and just, whoops. This is a lot easier, by the way, when you are not looking at it through a candle. Clip it off. That is actually just a tad too short. Again, forgive me, I'm trying to do it while looking through a camera. And then you would light this, and I'll come back to lighting. Now, there's the other is that you have finished burning a candle. And here's one. I blew it out not that long ago, which, by the way, I'll talk about why you shouldn't blow them out, but I did it on purpose for this demonstration. So you can see that the wax still hasn't completely set. But you'll notice how the wick is curved because that's what happens. And sometimes, if you didn't cut it short enough, the top of the wick will also have carbon sitting up there. So you'll have like this little extra glob of carbon on the top of the wick. And that's no good. That's going to cause a problem when you actually light and burn it. So you would, again, take the clipper and you just gently cut off the top part. It holds it in there. This works a lot better if you wait till the wax has set. But like I said, I blew it out not that long ago. So anyways, that is a candle wick trimmer. So, PartyLite doesn't actually sell them, but it's a very important tool to get, and you can get it on Amazon. So the next thing you need is how are you going to light the candle? So there's like several different ways. You can use, the good old matchstick. And this is a box of long ones because if you're burning a pillar or a large jar, you know how it sometimes goes way down and you can't reach it with a normal match. The problem with the good old matchstick is that it's not very flexible. And so, you know, when you're trying to get into a weird candle space, they're straight, they don't bend. And if you are lighting something in a large jar and the wick's down at the bottom, you've got the flame burning at the bottom of your matchstick, and it's coming up fast towards your fingers, and you know, you could end up dropping burnt matchstick in there or just burn your fingers. So not the best idea. The next one that people use a lot is a butane lighter. These are great for gas grills for sure, and they do have the bendable neck, which is nice. They also, when you light them, have an actual flame. Let's see if I can actually, yeah, like that. I sometimes have problems with these just because the safety features require strong fingers, and also they're a landfill problem. Some of them are refillable, but have you ever tried to refill one? It's kind of problematic. Where do you even go? So you're building up the landfill with all these empty butane burners. Now, they're still good for like barbecuers and stuff, so don't throw them away, because the last one I'm going to show you is not good for a barbecuer, but it's wonderful for candles. And I'll actually show you this working. Now this has the bendable neck. You can sometimes get them with like a different colored body. It does have this safety feature, so it's a two-part. You have to actually turn it on. There's a slider, and I can see how much power's left. And then I would push this button, and this is like an arc, an electric arc. So that's, you know, electricity. It's not actually powered by butane. Now, this one does take a little practice to get used to, and it does take a little bit longer to light the actual wick if you're lighting a candle for the first time. So we're going to go ahead and light our candle using this. Oh, and by the way, this is rechargeable via a USB. So there's the arc. So you can like put it just around. Actually, let me do this from this side so you can kind of see it. And there you go. I've been using it for a while, so I've gotten used to it. But if the reach is longer, like I have candles in my fireplace, sometimes that's where I first tried it, and it took a while. So there you go. Even though I snipped that one a little bit too short, it still has a really nice flame on it. So that's the first two tools. Your thing for keeping the wick nice and short. Also helps the candle last longer, by the way. And, you know, a lighting tool. And by the way, I had said it's good to clip your wicks to keep it from smoking. PartyLite candles are unique in that they don't actually do a lot of smoking, which is absolutely fabulous. Which is why they're warmers. You may see for like melted wax. You could use a scented one, or they do have unscented ones. And you just put that under there, and you're not going to get that black residue on the bottom of whatever it's heating because of the style of this candle. And like I also said, they completely liquefy. And that's on purpose. They sometimes call that safety wax. What it means is you get a longer lifetime for the candle. And let's change this a little bit. So this candle, these are Tealights. They're one of the most popular buys because most people don't want to burn the same candle for a long period of time. Sorry. And you can see I haven't been burning this one for long enough because you can see there on that edge, it's not completely liquefied. So for all candles, PartyLite candles anyways, it is recommended that you burn them for at least an hour so that it's completely liquefied, at least the top layer. And that will make sure that you get the full use of the candle, and you won't have a wax tunnel building up on the edges of things. The next tool is going to be snuffer, but before I do that, I'll show you really quick. So I'll move this. This is one of our jar candles, and it was, when I started burning it, up about there. You can kind of see there's slight residue, but you can also see that it's actually burning its way down. And so if you buy a jar candle of any sort from PartyLite, and, you know, remember you need to want to burn it the first time, well, every time you light it, you want to burn it long enough so that at least the very top level is all liquefied. That means that you won't get that creep up like I have on this one. That's my fault. I think I may have blown this one out. By the time this candle is completely used up, you will actually have a very nice jar, and you can reuse it for anything. And that wax cleans out really, really easy because it has such a low melting point. It's not hard to get it all cleaned out. Someone said they also like the wood wicks. So here's an example of a wood wick. And you can see when I started burning it, it was way up here. And the only problem is that sometimes if there's a breeze or something, it does make it a little bit harder. But for the most part, you can get them burning pretty evenly. And if you ever do a pillar candle, I need to get a picture for you guys to see. Pillar candles, they're like, you know, what, 5 or 6 inches tall? Let me turn this around really quick. So they're 5 or 6 inches tall. We have, and I'll do a different thing on that, we have a technique that you use with our candles called hugging the candle. And if you do this with the candles, and it doesn't work with other people's candles, it only works with PartyLite because of the way our wax is. And for us, the scent is actually in the wax. It's not sprayed on the outside, so also this scent lasts a lot longer. But by the end, you have this little disc like this. Instead of having a big, tall pillar that has like a tunnel in the middle going all the way down to the wick, which makes you have to use a really long thing to light it. Nope. As the pillar burns, the whole pillar, if you do the hugging, gets shorter and shorter, and finally you have like this little disc like this that you throw away. So it's awesome. Anyways, so let me take you back to our final tool. So actually, my apologies, ladies. This is my first time doing a live one, so I'm messing with the camera a little too much, I guess. The last thing is some kind of snuffer. I have recently noticed that there's a new version that is really just a stick with like a pointy edge, and I haven't tried it yet. And those might actually work with our candles pretty well. Snuffers are great for tapers as well as other candles. One thing to be aware of is that when you do snuff a candle, at least ours, you're going to get wax on the inside. So having something that you can put it back down on after you've snuffed the candle, that, you know, like a piece of cardboard or something, for all this excess wax that might drip is a really good idea. The one that I don't have that I think would be great is, imagine like a little poker, and you just put it inside the wax, which is liquid in our case, and so it goes into the wax, and you use it to push the actual wick down into the wax, so that extinguishes the flame, and then you pull it back up out of the wax. And that probably would work really well with most of our candles, except for tapers. Sometimes these have a problem because of the size of whatever the candle is, and so either the diameter might not be too big, or it might be too big or too small, etc. So, but these are really very easy. This is probably the one tool most people have seen, although most people just blow out candles. The reason why you do not want to blow out a candle, at least our candles, is I talked earlier about how it's completely liquefied, the wax. If you blow out a candle that is liquefied and you blow too hard, what's going to happen to all that wax? It's going to blow the wax. So that's problematic. You definitely do not want the person who's the big bad wolf coming to blow out your candles, because the wax will go everywhere. But even just a little puff can sometimes, make, especially on tea lights, make the wax move and maybe go over the edge a little bit. So it really is better to do a snuffer, or the other tool I was talking about, which I intend to get because I want to try it so that I can let people know if it's as good as I think it would be. So we're just going to snuff out this burning candle here. And remember, you do want to let a candle burn, and usually it will take about an hour. For the top, and this is a Tealight, so the entire thing is liquefied. But for any other candle, the whole thing doesn't liquefy, just the top level. So you do want the top level to be completely liquefied, and that's usually about 1 hour of burn time to get that before you blow it out. And that's to avoid getting like a cave or a tunnel. So this is really easy. You just take and put the thing over the top. And there it is. And like I told you, I did get a little bit of wax on there. So, which is why, it's really great to have something like, cardboard or something to put it on. I noticed Amazon has a few that come with like a little tray. So anyways, that is my little tutorial about the tools you need for a candle. Again, PartyLite doesn't sell them. Amazon has a great variety. So you want a way to light your candle, and you want a way to snip the wick. Normal scissors aren't really very easy to use with that. And a way to snuff it out. So those are the 3 things you need with any candle. So I hope this has been helpful for you. And go ahead, post me any questions that you might have under this, and I will give it my best shot to get you the answer that you need. Thanks all. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.